From clunky machines to sleek masterpieces, welcome to Vovolution, where we trace the rise, fall, and rebirth of the technology that shaped our world. Today, we explore the evolution of the smartphone.
Before it lived in our pockets, the idea that would define the modern smartphone was brewing in labs for decades. It's a story that goes way, way deeper than the device you're probably holding in your hand right now. So, the story of the smartphone, well, it doesn't actually begin with a phone. Nope. It starts with an idea that's way more fundamental, but at the time, totally revolutionary: the simple act of touch. And what's just wild is how long this all took. For over 40 years, the building blocks of the touch revolution were slowly, almost silently being put into place. It all started back in 1965, when a guy named E.A. Johnson imagined a screen you could just touch for air traffic control. Then, in 1970, a happy accident led to the first resistive touchscreens. And by 1984, Bell Labs had a prototype that let you pinch and zoom with your fingers. The future was already there. It just wasn't in our hands yet. Okay, so not all touch is created equal. Early screens were what we call resistive. You had to physically press down on them, kind of like an old ATM. But the real game changer? That was capacitive touch. This technology could sense the subtle electrical charge in a human fingertip, which made it precise, responsive, and able to handle multiple touches at once. This was the magic key that would unlock absolutely everything. So for decades, all these brilliant ideas were just simmering away in labs, waiting for the right moment, the right package. And then one company was about to put it all together and, well, change the world forever. And this was the moment, the turning point. When the first iPhone launched in 2007, it didn't just introduce a new gadget, it completely shattered our expectations of what a phone could even be. Suddenly, that capacitive, multi-touch screen wasn't some lab experiment, it was in the hands of millions. The world just wasn't ready. The iPhone's arrival sent these massive shockwaves through the industry, and it prompted a really powerful response from Google, Android. But here's the thing, they took a radically different path, setting up this fundamental divide. Apple built a closed ecosystem. You can think of it like a pristine walled garden where they controlled every little thing, hardware and software, for a seamless experience. Google, on the other hand, created an open platform, basically giving the software away for free to anyone who wanted to make a phone. It was a clash of ideals, perfect integration versus widespread accessibility. And that single decision set the stage for a rivalry that would define the next decade. So this wasn't just about selling a few phones. The battle between Apple and Google, it became this furious feature-for-feature arms race that ended up building a global industry from the ground up. And make no mistake, this was not a friendly competition. I mean, just listen to this quote from Steve Jobs. It's clear, this was a war, fought in courtrooms over patents for things like Slide to Unlock, and on retail shelves all across the globe. But here's the fascinating part, right? Just like the Williams sisters in tennis, this super intense head-to-head rivalry, it actually pushed both companies to be so much better. Ideas just echoed back and forth. Features that first showed up on one platform, like widgets on Android or the quick access settings on iOS, well, they soon arrived on the other. They were competing, for sure, but they were also learning from each other at a breakneck pace. So, after all that, where did this war leave us? Well, Android, with its open-for-all approach, achieved this incredible global dominance. Today, it powers over 70% of the world's smartphones. But Apple, with its closed ecosystem, captured the incredibly profitable premium market, establishing the iPhone as a luxury status symbol. But, every war has its casualties, and in the wake of this two-sided battle, the old giants of the mobile industry, they were just left in the dust. Companies like BlackBerry, Nokia, and even Microsoft, who had once dominated the market, they just couldn't keep up with the insane pace of innovation set by Apple and Google. So, as the corporate dust settled and smartphones just became a normal part of life, we started to see their huge and sometimes really complicated impact on society itself. So how do we feel about this little world in our pocket? Well, the research is pretty clear. Overwhelmingly, people all over the globe feel their phones have been a positive force in their personal lives. For all the downsides we hear about, the benefits seem to win out for most of us. And this quote from a young man in Kenya, it just captures that feeling perfectly. Smartphones connect us to our loved ones, to information, to opportunity. They're shrinking the distances that used to keep us all apart. But all this connection, it definitely comes at a cost. As this woman from the Philippines kind of humorously points out, it brings all these new anxieties. Distraction, loss of productivity, and that nagging feeling that we're losing the art of just talking to each other face to face. And what's the single biggest concern that comes up again and again? It's the impact this technology is having on the most vulnerable among us, our kids. A median of 79% of people across the globe are very concerned about what children are being exposed to, and that's a tension we are all still trying to figure out. And now, Now, after years of what felt like small, incremental updates, a better camera here, a faster chip there, the smartphone is on the verge of its next great leap, an evolution powered by generative AI. So, what does that even mean? Well, the whole shift is from a smart device that just runs the apps you tell it to an intelligent device that actually anticipates what you need, maybe even before you ask. And the solution seems to be this kind of hybrid approach. For quick, private stuff, little AI models will run right there on your phone's processor. But for the really heavy lifting, your device will seamlessly tap into these massive, powerful AI models up in the cloud. So you get the best of both worlds. You get speed and privacy, balanced with just immense power. And this changes the whole role of the phone in our lives. It's evolving from a passive tool that we command into an active agent that works for us. So pretty soon, your phone won't just hold your calendar, it might actually manage it. It's becoming less of an assistant and more of a partner. Which brings us to the final and maybe the most critical question of all. As our most personal device becomes a true intelligent agent, acting on our behalf, what part of our own decision-making, our own agency, are we really willing to hand over? That's the conversation we're all about to have. Every piece of technology has a story, and this was just one of them. If you love seeing how innovation shapes our world, hit subscribe and join Volution, where the past meets the future. Comment below what evolution you want to see next.